In part 2 of the court process series on Don't Talk TV, we're going to now take a look at how things proceed from your first appearance up to getting to a trial. Hello, my name is Nicholas Wansbutter. I'm a criminal defense lawyer in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to Don't Talk TV. So in the last episode, we talked about the arrest process, how you come to be in custody of the police, and how you get out of police custody and get your first court date. So you'll be given a first appearance date. Now in normal times, that would be a date where you are required to come to the courthouse to make your first appearance in front of a judicial official. In the COVID-19 era, this will be a Zoom meeting. And I suspect that this may become a permanent fixture where case management court, which is where you make your first appearance, stays on a Zoom platform to save court resources. Now, in the time between your release from police and your first appearance in court, my recommendation is that you contact a lawyer, because a lawyer can help walk you through the court process, and there's a lot of things that they can do, including having you sign a designation of counsel, which officially authorizes them to act on your behalf in court, and then the lawyer can appear for that first appearance and subsequent appearances without you having to take a day off work to come and appear for that. Now, whether you have a lawyer or not for that first appearance, what happens on the first appearance is, in short, not a lot. Some people are worried that they're going to have a trial on that first day of court, and it can be very stressful, but the first appearance is really just to get you started in the system. Usually the Crown Attorney will have at least initial disclosure ready for you on that date, and disclosure is the police reports, police notes, witness statements, and any other evidence that the Crown Attorney is going to use to build the case against you. No one is expected to make a decision of whether they're pleading guilty or not guilty on that first day of court, because they're only getting the disclosure for the first time, the vast majority of the time, on that date. So what'll happen is you'll make your appearance, identify yourself to the court so they know you've responded to your promise to appear or your judicial release and come to court. You're under the jurisdiction of the court. They'll confirm with the Crown Attorney that disclosure has been provided, and then you'll be, as a matter of course, given another court date 3, 4, 5, or 6 weeks down the road to give you time to retain a lawyer, or if you have a lawyer, for that lawyer to review disclosure and start working towards the next steps in the procedure. Those steps are, as I've already alluded to, reviewing the evidence, making a preliminary plan with your lawyer of how you wish to proceed. Do you want the lawyer to start negotiating, or do you want the lawyer to start moving towards getting a trial date set up? It will also involve an initial meeting between your defense counsel and the Crown Attorney. There may be more than one meeting between counsel. It depends on the complexity of the case, depends on whether all the disclosure is available at the beginning, whether your lawyer identifies further disclosure that's required, and it also depends on what direction the case is being taken. Often plea bargains involve the accused person doing things up front, like community service, writing a letter of apology, paying restitution. So there may be further adjournments to allow you time to accomplish that, or there will be further adjournments to allow time for further disclosure to be provided, for further discussions between Crown Defense, for further discussions between you and your defense lawyer. There'll be a lot of things happening behind the scenes that you won't see between court dates, but it's very important to stay in contact with your lawyer, and don't worry about making your lawyer upset. Even if I'm having a bad day and I get a bit grumpy with you phoning, don't hesitate to call or send a quick email just to make sure you know what's going on. Although generally my practice is that if anything of substance is happening in the case, I will let you know. So you don't need to phone up immediately after a court appearance wondering in a panic, what happened on my court appearance, what's my next court date? If there's anything that you need to be present for, I will always notify you of that, as will any lawyer. Ultimately, during this process, you'll reach a point where it's time to make a decision. You either are pleading guilty or not guilty, or the Crown is withdrawing the case. Not guilty is then setting a trial. Guilty is a resolution, or often called a plea bargain. Although a plea bargain is usually where there's some agreement. There won't always be an agreement to a lesser charge, for example, or for certain charges to be dropped. Sometimes the Crown Attorney just has you dead to rights, and the best option is to fall on your sword and plead guilty. Now, there's a lot of complexity to these steps, but I'm just trying to give a general overview of what goes on. But once you reach that final step and you enter your plea, you'll either plead guilty and be sentenced, or you'll plead not guilty and a trial date will be set up. And if a trial date is set, that'll be several months in the future. And depending on the case, it's hard to give much of an overview on that because every trial preparation is going to be different. But suffice to say, you'll have several months to meet with your lawyer, at least once, but probably a number of times, to plan out the trial strategy, plan out what witnesses you need, and to prepare you for trial. Then, once you have the trial, obviously the evidence is heard, and what goes on at a trial will be a subject of a future episode. So this video is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, call a lawyer. You can either call myself or another lawyer. My 1-855 number is below, along with my website. If there's any suggestions or ideas that you have for show topics, please either leave a message in the comment section below or send me an email. And if you found this video at all interesting, helpful, or informative, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing, and following me on social media.